people say I ain't no good, and I'm crazy as a loon. Cause I shave my head in the morning, pick guitar in the afternoon. Just like old Chief and Charlie, I like to lay around in the shade. Well, I ain't got no money, but you better believe I got it made. Cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this bald-headed country boy alone.
What's up, folks? Thank y'all for tuning into the Josh Terry podcast. Today is a special show. We got my guy, Mr. Jason Johnson from Project K9 Hero, who's not only a sponsor on the show, he's a friend. He is a guy that I just admire so much what he does, and he has a big event coming up next week in Nashville, and we're going to talk about it. But also, on with us too, is one of the performers from that event and a past guest that we get to catch up with. We ain't talked to him in a hot ass minute, so this is just going to be great. First off, Jason, thank you so much for letting us be involved with anything that you do with Project K9 Hero. I absolutely love the organization, love everything that you do. Most of your posts on social media make me cry like a little bitch, but outside of that, I just think you're wonderful. I love everything that you do, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And, coming on here every year, talking about the event, bringing on an artist like Mr. George Ducas here is great for us because every year it's been successful. Every year we've made more and more money and donations for the organization. And I hope this year is going to be no different.
Absolutely. I hope we can help. And anybody that's listening, before we get too deep in this and before I introduce y'all to Mr. George, tell them real fast, just in case anybody wants to tune out, they get busy or whatever. If they can't make Nashville Palace next week, where can they make a donation and help out Project K9 Hero?
Yeah, everything's right on our website, projectk9hero.org. That's project, letter K, number 9, HERO.org. And not only can you make donations, you can see our shop. You can read about the heroes that we serve from the United States military, federal government, and local law enforcement, as well as learn about how to get tickets for the event. So everything's right there on the website or our social media, Project K9 Hero.
And it's one of the few organizations that every dollar goes to exactly where it's supposed to. These dogs cost a lot. He's going to tell you more about that in a minute, but it is one of the things that ever since we heard about them a couple years ago and got involved, we couldn't help but be a part of and have loved being a part of. Now also with us, as he said, is Mr. George Ducas. How are you doing, buddy?
Hold up, guys.
George broke his camera again.
One sec, guys. So sorry.
You're good.
I tried to take my iPad, okay. I tried to take my AirPods off because it wasn't really working for me. So, okay, I just did that, so we're good.
Is when you can write and sing like you can break all the shit you want, George. It doesn't matter. It'll be okay. Hell with it. It don't matter. George, give everybody a little bit of background on you in case they didn't hear the first episode me and you did a couple years ago.
Yeah, man. Josh, it's been a hot minute, man. I guess it's
dude.
been almost maybe a year and a half or two. I don't
2
even
years.
know. But yeah, man, singer-songwriter, like, Shake a Tree and 100 of us fall out and 99 of us are probably selling pizzas, for Domino's, or delivering pizzas. But yeah, I've just had one foot in both the recording artist world all my life, really since a young age. And then the other foot in the songwriting world. And I write songs. Some days I write them for me, and some days I'll write them for other people. And that's served me pretty well over the years. Bunch of hits of my own on the radio, Lipstick Promises being the biggest one back in the mid-late 90s, and then a number of other top 20s, top 30s, and then some as an indie artist, and a lot of good stuff on CMT on me and through the years. And then I've, my songwriting stuff, I've had, fortunately, right place, right time stuff happen to me, like Garth Brooks, George Jones, and Sarah Evans, good friend of mine who I just texted earlier today, and had a 3-week number one hit with one of my songs. So it just happens, like Eli Young Band and some Texas Boys, Randy Rogers band, and there's no rhyme or reason to what we do. That's kind of kind of it's like the blessing and the hard part to it. You know, you
Yeah.
just sort of kind of nose to the grindstone, man. Just like much like yourself, really. Like you just keep doing what you do and doing it for the right reasons. And when you do that, like good things happen.
Well, it's funny how when you do things because you love them, not because you want to or have to, how it
Yeah.
just always seems to work out for you. It always seems like when you think a door shuts, if you're doing it for the right reasons, the door always opens.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's true, and that's so. It sounds so almost contrived, but the hard thing is that maybe it doesn't happen on your time.
Yeah.
But like, I can look back on 25 years of this thing, not to date myself or whatever, but 6 albums, 5 or 6 Billboard hits. It's not 30 Billboard hits, but it's a solid. Toured the world. It's been a really great career, and then I've had the whole side piece career of being a songwriter that had hits for other people that have become those songs have become instrumental in other artists' lives, that a key part of their careers, and that's like the ultimate compliment as a creator, in this business we call music, and to have someone else, your creation be a part of someone else's career that they valued enough to record it, and then it was actually a key piece, to what they do, every night live on stage. And then you got your own thing you're doing live on stage every night too, which that's really what drives me, is like being out on the road on the highway with the band, with the guys, and feeling the just the music coming up through the stage floor, feeling connecting with the crowd, and smelling the amplifiers humming and just getting after it, and that's really what drives everything for me. Ultimately, is drives the songwriting, shows me what I'm doing well, shows me what I'm missing as a songwriter or in my live show, and so it all fits together that way for
Well,
sure.
one thing, George, I'm learning to do, and Jason, is to pat myself on the back. Sometimes, how you said, people have had more. Obviously, you know how many people don't have a single song in the top 20 or have ever charted
Dude,
on Billboard?
yeah,
99.99999% of the whole fucking world. So
no,
you
you're
having
right.
five, it's just one of those things. I hear people all the time
You're right.
say stuff like, and it's like that's so much of an accomplishment. You'll get people that are like armchair football players, whatever you want to call them, that are sitting and say,
For
"Oh, I
sure.
could have made that tackle." You know what? No, you couldn't have, or you'd be in the NFL. It's the same thing with
Yeah.
songwriters and singers, man. If
Yeah.
I could sit here and say I can do it all day long, but I can't. I
Yeah.
can't, but you can, and that is something that the majority of the world will never do. So don't downplay that. Don't tap that back,
Oh
baby.
man,
Tap
I
that back,
appreciate that,
baby.
brother. I mean, no, I appreciate that. I guess, like, it's so different now, like, than when I started in like 1995 as a barely a 20-year-old. Like, I mean, it was like it's like that was the age where the artist had some mystique to them, like, you didn't know what they were eating for lunch. They weren't posting, you know, taking their dog for a walk or
Yeah,
whatever the heck, all the mundane stuff that people post now, or them doing a selfie in their car and singing a demo to their latest song. Like, it just wasn't that way. I don't know. So, and I kind of like that. That's like where I come from. So I don't self promote very
yeah.
well because I don't come from that. Like, but now, man, there's like people spend like so much time on that. Like, can we just get back to like spending as much time on our craft? Like,
Absolutely.
that'd be good for me.
See, the reason why a bunch like the older cats like me is even though I've made a name for myself in social media, it's a necessary evil for me. I don't want to have to
For
work
sure.
and I don't want to have to be that guy to make stupid ass videos. I don't want to be the guy that has put too much of his life on social media. I want to do what Jason does. I want to have a cause. I want to have something that I just grind for every single day, and that's my thing. Or be like you, singer and songwriter. Good Lord didn't give me that talent because I'd have ruined my damn self. But, but,
Right here. I'm right
yeah,
there with you.
but
Uh, And
that's
I
what,
love what
yeah,
Jason does every day.
yeah.
Just to interject on what to speak to what you're speaking about. Like,
But all these
man, I mean,
people, but all these artists that you see coming up, see, the reason the old cats like me is I tell anybody that we work with that right now the numbers and followings outweigh the talent, and that's bullshit. I don't like
Mhm.
that. I love the way that it used to be, like you were just talking about, where the talent, if you were talented, you were going to shine through. Now you might have somebody that's got 2 million followers on something, and just because they got 2 million damn followers and they think they can sing, all of a sudden they got a record deal and they sound like shit. But the second you put them out on the road or you put them on a
They're not ready.
stage, they're not ready
Yeah.
and they cripple themselves. And it's just horrible.
You're
It's,
right. They're not, and they're
yeah,
being. I mean, that's a disservice to them
yeah.
because they needed that time to get ready to season themselves.
Well,
So that does happen. I mean, that
Well,
does happen.
the thing with me too is like if Jason was to sit down and write a song, he's had a couple guys on the show that he's wrote songs with, or
Yeah,
some of the songs that you've wrote, you've actually had to live. All these people that have had shit handed to them because of an app, they're
yeah,
going to run out of material. I don't. Nobody wants to hear how great your life is.
hmm
And then when you do sing some of these songs that somebody else wrote for you that are just deep heart, just substance songs, nobody connects with you because they can tell it's not you. The reason why I like the
right,
music I do is because when I hear an artist sing it, I believe that they lived it, whether they did or not. Like, and
right.
that's why a bunch of these people, they're going to be 15 minutes of fame. They're going to follow them. They're going to
Yeah,
have a little bit of success, but in 25 years, they're not a George Ducas. You might not be the most popular or famous
uh,
person, but you can write a hell of a song. And the people that know you know how good you are. Jason having you on the show this year, me having you on the podcast before, me hearing some of your stuff. Anytime somebody
well,
brings your
appreciate
name
it.
up, anytime somebody brings your name up, they know you're one of the good ones that does what you do and you're worth listening to. To where the rest of these folks, fuck them. Wait till if TikTok would have if TikTok would have died the other day, half the music industry would have been out of business. Like
You know,
that's how I feel.
golly, can we talk about that for a second? Like Trump was against TikTok in 2020. Now he's flipped on it and he's like, saving it. Like it's so interesting. But
He's
yeah.
fixing to turn everything upside down anyway, and
Oh, for sure.
I think that he knows that he's going to have all these people rallying behind him on social media now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Not only that, but he's got Elon ready to buy it.
Oh
So
yeah.
Elon's. I mean, that's probably the way he's paying Elon back for all of his help during the campaign, right?
I'm a huge Elon Musk guy. I don't know about you two, but
Yeah, no,
like
I mean,
I adore
the guy's
him.
a genius. He's a genius.
I adore him, and I think that Elon just literally wants to make everything. When he says he believes in free speech, I don't think there's an ulterior. He's lost so much money with Twitter. It's stupid if you look it up. He has lost
Hmm.
dollar after dollar after dollar on there. He doesn't care. He wants people to actually like anytime that we've done something for Project K9 Hero, our views go down, and that makes no sense. But if I was talking about drama and bullshit, it would go up. And all it is the algorithm that it
hmm
doesn't like it to where now moving forward when we talk about Project K9 Hero and we just put out into the world what they're doing, how great they're doing, all that kind of stuff, because the algorithm's fixing to go back to where it was free speech. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, this is great. How did we not know about these guys before now?"
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I mean, I know you're right. There's no
I
doubt
just want to
about it.
give George one of the best compliments I can. So I was in the Army from 93 to 98. I was in Wiesbaden, Mainz, Germany, 94 to 96. I was very
And
poor. I made about $730 a month. This is when you still had to get the prepaid calling card to call back home. That cost about half my money there.
and
And
we thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But you have to go down to the A fees, which is the post exchange, the PX, and they'd have new CDs in like every Monday or Tuesday. And that was my thing because, we still listened to CDs back then.
Yeah.
And when your first one came out, with Lipstick Promises on it, I spent my hard earned money as a soldier, bought it, and it was my favorite album of that year. And so
Bro,
now having
that's
George on the show, 30 years later, me and him have become friends over the years. We hang out, we're friends now, but now
yeah,
having
man.
him on our show now, that's a full circle moment for me,
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
and
that's so
in the
cool.
organization. But I can
I
say I
can't.
actually bought the CD and in a box somewhere in all my storage. I don't think I threw them away. I still probably have it. But man,
Wow,
that
man.
was great. And then some of the songs he mentioned, Joshua, and I know he probably didn't do them justice, but they're big hits.
Yeah.
And he writes one of my favorite songwriters of all time is Radney Foster, and George writes with Radney. Uh, the Randy
hmm
Rogers song "Kiss Me in the Dark" is probably one of my favorite songs ever.
Yeah.
So just to bring it in full context, it's for me personally, just having George affiliated with us is huge.
Listen, man, that's too sweet, and I could not be more proud than to be affiliated with you, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And you had not yet told me the story about how you spent your very hard earned and scarce dollars at the time in the military on my CD. I feel like I owe you a couple drinks to pay you back for that
Yeah.
right now. So
Yep.
with interest. So
Yeah. The other
that's
one was
coming.
big that time for me was Dave Lee Murphy Out with a Bang. Those were
Yeah.
two by far the best CDs I ever purchased when I was down there in the military in Wiesbaden, Mainz, Germany. And you might not even known at the time that they were selling your music in Wiesbaden, Mainz, Germany, but they were. That's where I bought it.
Brother, I had no idea. I mean, there were a lot of things that were happening for me at the time that I had no idea how they were
Right.
happening, or you think it's all you
Right.
as a young dumb kid, and then you figure out later it's that, man, it's this whole machine. It's like, but I appreciate
Yeah.
I appreciate that now even more than I did then, and I appreciate your story even more than any of that, man. That just speaks, that hits me right in the heart. So and I'm so honored now that we're friends and that I can give back to you and to your cause, because it is such a
Yeah.
wonderful cause. So, I mean, it is full circle for me as well, brother. I mean that.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
that's
man.
awesome.
And in case, and
We've
in
got some
case,
great.
and in case y'all missed what George said a while ago with Garth Brooks and George Jones, just put in perspective, you probably had George Jones's last hit, right?
Man, I feel like it was. I can't
Yeah.
say for a fact if he had another radio single out after Beer Run, which is the song that I had a hand in writing. I I feel like maybe it was the last one that he had on the radio, though. I feel like there's a pretty good.
It had to be. I can't. I'm a George Jones fanatic, and I can't
I mean,
think of
me
one
too,
after.
bro.
I can't think of one after.
And it was a duet with Garth, so it
Yeah,
was a big event at the time. And um, I don't know that he had another single out. I don't think he had really
I don't
a
think he did.
machine to put another single out on Billboard Radio at the time. But because Garth was associated with it, it was readily welcomed. So it's a huge honor, and to have him have that voice, his voice on your creation, like, is it doesn't really get any better than that. It can't. Like, there's just no way. I mean, for me, I'm a huge Buck Owens fan, Merle Haggard fan. Like, that whole Bakersfield thing fits into what shaped my understanding of country music as much as Texas did shape it. And so to have one of those guys would have been equally like an equally proud moment. But I played a show with Merle towards the end in Texas at a big festival, and got to hang out with him for a hot minute. And then I did have a couple run-ins with Buck Owens at his radio stations out there on the West Coast, and so we sort of wound up connecting, and he actually wound up calling my house a few times and checking in on me, which was really very mentor like of him to do that. It was later on, and his health was declining for sure, but I always heard he was a really instrumental mentor to many people in the business, and that was certainly true in my brief exposure with Buck.
That's cool, dude. That is Jason.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
mean, it's this just you put together the best lineups, dude. Like, I
And I'll get
Ah,
lucky.
yeah.
dude,
Well, you're just so
he's
lovable.
just
You're so
he's that's the
lovable.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Josh. Is Jason really is, man. He is cut and dried, straight from the heart, and people pick up on that. They recognize that. Like, it's just so obvious, like he is real as the day is long,
Well,
and
I said it in the first show, and I know I kiss his ass every time when I say this, but one of the things that I love about people when they start an organization is when you see a need for something and you get tired of waiting on somebody to do it and you do it your damn self. And that's what I've loved about Jason since the first time I met him, because like I didn't even know that there was a need for what he does and supporting these dogs, these
yeah,
military and law enforcement dogs. But him coming from the background that he did and what all he still works in now, He saw it, knew that there had to be something done about it. He took charge about it. And that's where you just don't get a lot of people that do that. And this dude's had my respect, my love. Like he's just been one of the dudes ever since day one, since we met him. And the fact that he adds the humbleness that he has and him just being so lovable and then taking care of these animals. It's impossible to say no to him once you get to meet him. Like you want to do
Yeah.
everything. If more artists knew, which the lineup's already great anyway, don't get me wrong, but there wouldn't be an artist in Nashville or pretty much anywhere that wouldn't want to be associated if they knew more about Project Canine Hero and knew more about Jason. And Jason can make us jump through hoops just like them damn dogs.
Oh, hell, gladly. Right. I
And a
mean,
heartbeat.
yeah.
Tell them about
Show
some
me
other
who.
folk. Tell them about some other folks you got on the lineup this year.
Yeah, some faces we've had on before and some new ones. So Miss Danielle Peck, she's our host once again. We've worked with Danielle for the last couple of years, but coming in new this year is going to be Mr. Craig Campbell, and I'm excited
Oof,
about that.
good
I
dude.
love Craig's music. I have always loved his music, and a few years we've talked to him. He's been busy with some of his other stuff, but this year he had the time and got on the schedule, and I'm pretty excited about having Craig and having George New as this year as well is huge for me. And then coming back, who's been on before, Mr. Jesse Keith Whitley, who is kind of like family to me, which I know that sounds weird. He says we're family, but
He's a buddy
we
of the show.
sponsored.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, we sponsored the golf
For
tournament this
sure.
year, and I get to hang out with him a couple times a year. And when you have someone like Jesse Keith call you your brother and mean it, like family brother, that's pretty cool. Because I think we all agree on what Keith Whitley means to country music royalty and his
Kentucky
mom.
Bluebird.
Oh yeah, Miss Lori Morgan. We
Yes, sir.
Craig Wayne Boyd came back this year. We've had Craig on a couple times, so we're excited about that. We've got some new songwriters on, Mr. Kesey Timmer. I've been friends with Kesey over the last couple of years. I think you guys may know him, but he's doing great and
It's great. Yeah.
back into back. He wasn't here last year, but one of the what I feel is one of the greatest songwriters in Nashville. Mr. Anthony Smith is back. Uh, he wrote "Run" by George Strait, "Cowboys Like Us," plus many others. But
Yeah.
Anthony's got some of my favorite. Run's one of my favorite songs also ever written. I just feel yeah. So
Oh,
Anthony does a great job. He's a great performer. He's back. Mr. Rob Mays, he's helped me host it. He's a good friend of mine on the show. He's been on the show with us before,
That
Josh.
good looking bastard.
I know,
Hey,
man. He's in
he's
Hollywood
so
making
fucking
movies
pretty.
and doing all these things. And then we got the guys from Label 22. I've been working. We had Stephen Cochran on before, my military buddy I work with. He's got Mr. Sal Gonzalez on, and Sal, he was just on the Opry here a few weeks ago. I saw him on there. He's a amputee Marine, and he actually has a music video called Heroes, and I'm one of the heroes with him in the video. I'm in the music video. We're on the Nashville Bridge and everything. So that's my
It's
my
cool.
my official music video debut with him. And then we got the guys lining up and before that with some great artists, Mr. Austin Newman out of Kentucky, up and
great
coming
guy.
artist that yeah.
Great guy.
We're talking to George even about doing some work with it if he'll lend us his talents. But with my best friend out there, Morgan Cyrus from the Cyrus family, we're working with Austin. We got Chad Bushnell coming back from California. He's a great guy. He's played every year. He does great for us. Mr. Nathan Maravich coming back from Pennsylvania. Nathan's also a great musician. Does great work, and we're pretty excited to have him as well. Mr. Michael Ricks, who plays the banjo. He's been a few times. He's going to do a special thing. We wrote a song about my dog Yubi, who passed away this year. When we wrote it and kind of did the release, she was still alive, but pneumonia got her. And we're going to have a special tribute to her. She was our national ambassador for 4 years. So we're going to have something special for Yubi and do that. After party is going to be amazing. In the after party, we got Mr. Zach Henson and Michael Lisenby coming out there to start. Then we get Mr. Chris Turner and a full band. That's going to be in the front room. I do have a special guest, one of my good friends, and I don't mind saying it here because I want to promote a little bit. But one of my good friends is Mr. Joe Parker Diffie, which is Joe Diffie's son. And I've been playing golf with him. We've been hanging out. We've become pretty good buddies. And he's like, "Hey man, maybe someone will let me get up there and sing Pickup Man." I was like, "Man, if you want to get up there and sing Pickup Man, I'll figure out a way for you to get up there." So we're gonna kick off the after party with Parker Diffie and a little pickup, man. So
Did
that's going to
you
be special.
did you hear the song that he did on the tribute album to
I
Diffie? The
I
very
did.
end of it.
Yeah,
Tell
I've listened to
tell
it.
him to kiss my ass because I'm probably still crying from it.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Like I just didn't expect it. It was so good. It was so
yeah,
good. To cover
yeah,
one of your dad's songs and do it with those guys, he killed it.
yeah. Yeah, and also with the Label 22 guys, we got Caleb Montgomery. So Label 22 is something my buddy Steven Cochran started up. So I'm trying to give back a little bit to the military community. Steven's a Marine, Sal's a Marine. Um, who else you got out there? Caleb is who they had signed on it. So pretty excited. And Chris Turner's a Marine. So
Label
trying to
22 is the one that we did the show with, right?
we did. So I've been trying to help those guys out a little bit, so that's why we made 4 spots for them this year. We had a hard time, honestly, getting some female artists. I called a lot. We called Sarah. She wasn't busy. Over the couple years, she wanted to do it. Just scheduling. She's been busy, and we've had some great female artists over the years. Heidi Newfield. She wasn't going to be in town. We've had Jana Kramer, Carolyn Don Johnson, Anita Cochran. But a lot, just tough to get them. So. And I'm not quite done. I got some calls to make tomorrow. I'm maybe going to move some things around, and we got a few big names out there that haven't given me a yes or no yet. But I also know some few really good hit songwriters that we might bring in. So there might be one or
Jason,
two more added.
when you said, sorry to interrupt, when you said Sarah, which Sarah is that?
Sarah Evans.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I can reach out to her too.
If you'd like. Danielle's tried, but hey, you might get a better response. I think she reached out to her management, but
I got a direct line, man. I mean, I'll hit her
hey,
up.
man, it'd be great.
Speaking of that, George,
you guys can do your song.
speaking of
man.
that, George, just remind her that there's a bald-headed fellow with a beard from South Georgia who's got a top 1% podcast in the whole damn world, and who is a huge Sarah Evans fan. I have a playlist on. I would love to have her on the podcast. I have a playlist on my phone that is what I consider the greatest country songs of all time, and her song "The Week the River Raged" is
Uh-huh.
is one of my. I had to hear my mama blare that shit at
Man,
my
I'll hit her
daddy
up on.
every
I'll
time
hit her
she's
up.
pissed off.
Yeah.
I'll hit her up
Hey.
I'll hit her up on your behalf. I'm not
That was
actually.
a couple of weeks ago, so I know schedules changed, and schedule could have changed.
Well, the other thing is, I don't think she's here in Nashville, but so it just maybe she'll be here for some reason.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
So I can ask. You can always ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get anything until you ask.
You know what, George? That'd be a real fine place to start, buddy.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
See what
There you go.
You see what I did there?
I saw
I
what
see
you
what
did.
you did there.
That was good.
Yep,
That was a
that's
good
it.
drop. That was a good drop. And if anybody's never been to one of their events, by the way, it's fun. It's not a somber event because you're talking about helping military animals that are struggling and all this other kind of stuff. It's fun. The music's great. The atmosphere is wonderful in Nashville Palace. I just hosted their New Year's Eve event and they were absolutely wonderful. I cannot wait to work with them again.
Yep.
There it's
Good
just a
people.
great environment. And then you actually bring some of the dogs out too. I know I got to meet
Yeah.
Mathis a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But you'll actually get to see some of these animals that you're helping right off the bat, get pictures with them, meet their handlers. But it's just you get to see. One thing I love about anything like any organization like you have is when you know the money's going where it's supposed to, because so many people are full of shit. And you can tell
Yeah.
from everything that you do. The people that just love you, the people that just surround themselves with you, or you surround yourself with, and even these animals when they come out and these handlers, they know that you got their back, and that's hard to find these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, let me talk about that real quick because we've had some amazing strides in this past year. First and foremost, Project Canine Hero is the largest organization in the world right now that helps retired police canines and military working dogs. Not the United States, not the state of Tennessee, the world. And I can honestly say that because last year, we raised 5.5 million, 4.3 the year before, 4.0 the year before. And our program percentages is 90% with just 5% admin. And that's really amazing for an organization of our size. But if anyone was to get out their phone right now and just Google this Project Canine Hero legit, you're going to see Charity Navigator, which is is the most well-known organization that rates other charities. And we're at 100% rating. And only 1/10 of 1% of all nonprofits get 100% rating. So that puts us right up there, and that comes from transparency, doing the right thing with the money, you know, disclosing all your financials, disclosing your audits, all your everything everything's going, and being at the highest level. So when people like George do want to come out and support, they know that hey, this is an organization that's truly helping retired police canines and military working dogs, and we're not just helping the dog because what happens is when you pay that bill for that first responder or that military member, you're also taking that financial burden off them and their family, which could cause them mental health issues, depression issues, suicidal issues, because maybe that partner saved their life and maybe it's got a cancer now that they can't pay for and it's $10,000. Well, we're here to pay all those bills. You know, we have 321 program members right now, 141 are alive today. And we're committed to paying all their bills for life at 100%. So you know, when people again think about it, that's what makes us different than everybody else.
That's amazing, man.
Absolutely, dude.
You're, you are to be commended. I mean, it's just amazing. And I know
Uh,
that's not why you do it.
no, it's not. I mean,
But
I had a good career in the government and the military and law enforcement. I quit all that to do this. You know, true story. In 2016, I took $500 in my own pocket to start this. I was still in the government. I was a fairly high-ranking government official. Had a good life. Could have had good salary, good retirement, good 401k, all that the rest of my life. Took $500 in my pocket to start this, and since that day in 2016, we raised over $25 million. That is not a number that would ever came out of my mouth back then. It's not even a dream of mine. You know, maybe
yeah,
George, that's like when you thought you're going to do music that you're going to have all these hit songs for all these people, and George Jones and George Strait or Garth Brooks were going to sing your song one day, and you know, so dreams do come true, and like you said earlier, you got to put your head down. You got to work hard every day. You know, we don't take days off around here. We're working 7 days a week. I was just on a West Coast swing for 2 weeks out working with our partners and sponsors, and that's really where the growth
that's
has been.
awesome.
Partners and sponsors, which brings me to our title sponsor, PetSafe, this year. PetSafe is a huge brand that does all different types of stuff for pets, mainly like their collars or their wireless fences. They're sold in big stores like TSC all around the world. And to be partnered with PetSafe this year as a title sponsor just tells me we're taking it to another level. And, you know, as we grow and grow, all those corporate partnerships is what really helps. And the artists who come in and volunteer their time. And that allows us to put the majority of the money made. The Palace is a very small fee, and you know last year I think we netted over 150,000 that night, and this year I hope to do over a quarter million just in the one night.
That's amazing, man. Just amazing.
You kill it, dude.
Well, we're gonna have some great live auctions and silent auctions. We'll have trips. We'll have pistols. One's gonna be a Trump pistol, by the way, by Glock. Rifles from. If you guys don't know, I also part owner and CEO of a rifle company called Blackbird Armament. My company made one for us. Thankfully for them, I guess someone must have told them to, but they donated one for the raffle. It's going to be super cool with our logo on it. I've already had a peek at
That's
it.
awesome.
Trips, you know, safaris, and that's how we raise money. You know, we got a professional auctioneer, and then with just a ton of things on the silent auction. You contact a lot of companies, they can't donate money. But like, well, hey, can you give us a gift basket or something for the silent auction? We probably have 30 items for that. So we hope to, you know, not only with the tickets we sell, but through the raffle or the silent auction and the live auction, that you know, and we're still racking up sponsorship. We're about 30 sponsorships right now, and I'm still calling people every day. Josh, you know, you're in the business too, and when you try to get sponsors, you don't have to call them once, twice, or 5 times. You have to call 20 times, and you have to keep asking and keep reminding them, you know, before you can get a yes, which is a little more difficult here in 2025. But that's the way you know business is done, and you just don't take no for an answer, and you keep calling people and emailing them and texting them until you get the sponsors you need for the cause you want it for.
Well, you're probably a lot like me. So when we're taking on sponsors on the show, I have to make posts about it at the beginning of every month and all this kind of stuff because I just do 1 month for
Mm,
every sponsor, unless there's somebody like you, right?
right,
And I don't have a problem getting businesses. I just have a problem getting the businesses I want. And there's a lot of
right,
businesses I just won't associate my name with. Like with the show being ranked as high as it is in the world and all that kind of stuff, you got everybody who wants to be a part of it. But a lot of them, that ain't for what I stand for. Like one of the things I say in my life ever since I worked back in radio was morals over money. no matter what I do, it's if we our morals don't line up, like I can't have you part of my business. Like I cannot do something with you. I'm not going to say you have the greatest product of all time or whatever if I just don't believe in you. So that's one of the things that's like been with you this whole time is I could sit here and I'd go to damn war for you. And I go to war for them dogs. Like my dogs are in there barking like hell right now. And I'm the only person in the world that could be mean to them. But I'd fight for a dog before I'd fight for most people, to be real with you.
Dude,
And
Yeah.
sign me up on that. Sign me
yeah,
up on that.
yeah.
Same, dude.
I'll
Same.
cry in a movie if a dog gets its nail broke before I cry when a person dies. Like I just it's the most. There's nothing better than a dog to me anyway. And you're just one of those folks, dude. You found a need and you're feeling it, and you're feeling it in a way that sponsors, people like me and George, everybody else that's on your lineup, Nashville Palace, where everybody wants to work with you.
They want to
You,
be a part of it, man.
Yeah,
They want to be a
and
part of
like
it.
you said, we bring in the dogs. So Canine Mattis, one of the most probably the most popular police canine in the world. He's got 5 million followers. He'll be there. Canine Dozer got T-boned in a car accident a little over a year ago, 2 years ago now. He got paralyzed. We helped, do his rehabilitation. He's back walking. Uh, Me and his handler are working on a bill in Michigan that changes the laws. Project Canine Hero isn't just about raising money and paying a bill. We're trying to change the laws in Michigan. I'll be in Washington D.C. next the few days right after the event. I got meetings with Senate, Congress about my Canine Hero Act that changes the way these federal police dogs and military working dogs are treated in retirements for generations to follow. So it's a lot more than just it's a lot more than just raising money and paying bills. I mean, I'm trying to be the voice for the voiceless, right? Be their mouthpiece, even in Washington D.C. or in different states. And we couldn't do that with all both your guys' help and everyone else who's been involved just in this show and and we're blessed. We have 250,000 donors, and I'm trying to raise that every day. We're trying to take it from a $5 million organization to a 10, to a 20, and just really see that. And just in full disclosure, we got 800 pending applications. Well, we put in one new hero a week, 52 a year. That's paying their medical for life. That's me committing about 25 grand every 7 days for us. A new 25 grand. So that's a pace where we're comfortable growing. But as we grow more, we can help more heroes because I certainly have the need out there. It's like disabled veterans or homeless veterans, right? You can have an organization to help them, but there's still so many out there. You're just not going to get to them all. And that's what, I'm trying to do. Reach more and more every day.
and you do a hell of a job
Fantastic,
of it,
man.
dude. You really
So
do.
well said. So well said too. I mean, just the way you talk about your cause, your mission is like it's obvious that it's real. It's just so real, and
Yeah, when you get to
people can't help but listen when they listen to you. People cannot help but not only believe you, but to say, "F yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like
that's the great thing about bringing these hero dogs in. I mean, it's one thing for me to say as the founder and CEO, but when the handler comes up and starts telling their story and how Project Canine Hero saved their dog's life and all these things, it's better coming from them. And so we're going to have about 6 of the dogs there and several of them speak in some videos, just to kind of bring it all home for everybody.
Dude,
amazing, man.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think with
Love it.
all of that, I think we hit our keynotes on everything. Let's one more time, Jason, tell them where if they can. I know if they can't make it, where they can go donate, where they
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
do all of that. Which I already tell them enough. ProjectK9Hero.org. I got it memorized by now. Uh, but like I said though, and I know because George, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this. If you knew what a prick I am, I don't like so many people. Like, because I just don't think they believe. I just don't think they believe their own stuff, right? Like, if you hear me talk about something, I believe in it. Like, I stand 10 toes on it. If I'm supporting it, I'm supporting it with all my heart. And you just get some people, like even some of the organizations I've tried to help out that aren't associated with us, but I thought it was for a good cause. Like, when you hear them talk about it, they're not passionate about it. It's almost like it's a job to them, and I know it's a job too for you, Jason. But that's how they see it. They don't see it as a passion project. They don't see it as them changing the world. They don't see it
Yeah.
as they a need being fulfilled. They start to see it as just a job. And you're not like that. That's why I do my
No,
best to drive everybody towards you as possible.
we, I mean, I literally, this is my 31st year in the business. I came in 1993. Police, military, federal government, overseas. No, nothing different than the path I've been on. And I literally quit a very high-ranking government job and sold everything I had to start this thing and really because you're never going to get to the level you want if you're not full time. If you're trying to do it full time with another job, it'll never be what you want it to be. And I really believe that. And so the other people you probably talk to, they're probably not a founder like me. They probably didn't change their entire life around to include selling their home, losing relationships, doing whatever you had to do to make sure that you're going to take your dream and your passion, you're going to follow it. And I know, that goes through to a lot of people, but for me, it's just the truth. I mean, it's just, and there's no plan B. I mean, we're taking Project Canine Hero to the top, and that's just going to be it. There's no backup plan. There's no side job. There's no thing that I'm going to do if this don't work out. Like it's working out, and we're doing it, and that's what's been very successful. So for those listening, we still got some sponsorships and tables available. Um, the event is January 30th, next Thursday. Doors are going to open
Coming right up.
Doors are gonna
Coming right
open
up.
at 5. We got 4 artists starting there at 5, and then we kind of do the national anthem, kick off the official part of it at 6, with 3 lineups, and we're still maybe gonna add a few artists, so it's not over yet. Um, then we got an after party after 10 in that front room. A few great artists, Mr. Parker Diffie, if he's listening, Mr. Joe Parker Diffie, gonna be leading us off with Pickup Man. And we got full band in there after 11:30, so it stays open to 2. There's a silent auction, live auction, visits from our Canine Heroes. K9 Mattis is going to be there doing autographs and pictures and doing different things as he does every year. And we just couldn't be more proud. And everything can be found on our social media, projectk9hero.org, our website at uh, projectk9hero.org, or on our social media. And you'll see how you can sponsor. You can see how I can get you a table. You can see how I get individual tickets. All the artists will be up there, all of our sponsors. Once again, this year, Pet Safe, I got to thank them for being the title sponsor. And with the arrangement I made with Pet Safe wasn't just to be the title sponsor of this event, was to work together, promoting each other throughout the year and beyond. So
That's
that's
cool,
gonna
dude.
that's gonna help us get into some of the stores they're in, like TSC and some other things, and bring some of our dogs and do some stuff like that. But most importantly, to our host, Miss Danielle Peck, 3rd year in a row, volunteering to be our host, the artist, like George and all the other ones we talked about, volunteering their time. No host, no artist, gets paid for this. This is a volunteer thing for them, which is asking them a lot to come out and support a national nonprofit like ours, but they do it because they're good people. So just know that when you see someone's name on that list, that every one of those people are doing it as a volunteer, as to give back to this organization that supports our nation's heroes that did so much for us, that protected our lives, protected our communities, and protected our country. And now some of them had nowhere to turn to, or they didn't have their medical taken care of. And so, as I always say, it's my job to protect those who protected us. And I am proud and honored to do it, as well as be on the show. So I hope to see you guys there Thursday night. I also want to mention George and I will be on Coffee, Country, and Cody, Bill Cody show on WSM 650 Opryland Radio and Circle Country Television TV next Wednesday morning. And it's going to be
Yep.
January 29th. I think we're around about 9:15. It's usually shown live on Circle Television. And we're going to be bringing in K9 Ricky, which is our new national ambassador. I believe George is going to bring his guitar, maybe do a song. And so we'll be promoting it there as well. But people should tune in to 650 WSM or Circle Country TV and catch us live, because it'll be a pretty cool segment. And we've done it 4 years in a row. So shout out to Bill Cody, Charlie Mattis, Kelly Sutton over there. They've had us on every year, and they've been extremely great to us. So I need to thank them as well.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to seeing them. Looking forward to seeing them for sure.
George, you got anything you want to leave us with? So make sure you drop your social
Man,
media
no, I'm just
handles.
George Ducas on everything. Yeah, just at George Ducas. So whether it's Instagram, Facebook, all the things, and then georgeducas.com, my website. We got new dates coming up pretty much on the weekly. Just adding to the tour calendar. Coming off this record that came out back in July called "Long Way from Home." Encourage everybody to check that out. Um, when I finished it, it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like my vision of what maybe Merle meets the Eagles in 1974 and then travels to Texas and plays a show at Gillies, or something
Hell
like
yeah.
that. So that's kind of where it's at for me, and I'm just, it doesn't really matter right now. What really matters is Project Canine Hero, and I'm just proud, super proud and honored that Jason has me as one of the many very capable spokespeople associated with his event, and he himself is the ringleader of them all. He's just to be commended for all his work he does for those who have protected us, our nation, our communities, and the world over so many years. And yeah, it's just gonna be a great night, man. I encourage everybody to check us out on Circle TV, on WSMAM, to promote the event the day before, Wednesday the 29th of January, in the morning. And then obviously please come out to the event on the 30th. It's gonna be a good time. And at Nashville Palace. And yeah, Jason pretty much highlighted everything, but I'm just
Yeah.
glad to be there. Glad to be there with him, and glad to be a part of a talented group of people to commemorate Project Canine Hero.
Absolutely. Well, folks, you heard it from
Thank you,
both of
Joseph.
them. You heard it from both of them, and just let me tell y'all, it is one of the few organizations that I love to get behind. Hopefully, I will be there. We got some medical stuff we got to deal with next week. If I get cleared, I'll be there. But let me tell you, please go look up projectk9hero.org. Follow them on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Jason did a great job explaining everything, but when you see the pictures of these animals, you hear the stories behind these animals on Facebook, it makes you want to help so much more. So I challenge each and every one of y'all to go follow them across the board on all social media platforms. Buy tickets if you're in Nashville or want to go to Nashville next week to the event. And I promise you, it's one hell of a time and it's for a damn good cause. So I just want to thank George and Jason for doing the show tonight. And I want to thank each and every one of y'all for listening to the Josh Terry podcast. And it's going to be a hell of a year, 2025. And we just thank y'all for being part of it. Thank y'all for
Yes,
listening.
sir.
Love y'all. We'll catch y'all next time.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.